That mama thought maybe she'd hit a potato from the previous year, so she bends down and brushes the dirt away. It was a toe. It was a big old toe. She picks it up real quick so the kids don't see it. She brushes the dirt off. Didn't look exactly human. Didn't look exactly like an animal either. Kind of hairy looking, had this big yellow toenail. She kind of looked around in the nearby woods to see if she could see anything that might have come off of it. She began to think about how they hadn't had any meat in a long time. You kids wait here. I'm going to go up to the cabin and check on the beans. I'll be right back. She takes that toe up to that cabin. She goes in there. Now, their little cabin, they're real fortunate. They had two sources of heat and cooking. They had a great big old stone fireplace on one side of the cabin, and they had a wood-burning stove over there with a big pile of wood in the corner. Well, that mama, she had put a big pot of beans on that stove to cook that morning. Well, she takes that toe and she scrubs it up, rinses it off in a bucket of water, scrubs, gets about as much dirt out of that toenail as she can. And then she takes the lid off the beans, plunks the toe in the beans, stirs it up, and then puts the lid back on. Goes back down to work in the garden. After about an hour, that toe starts cooking and the kids smell it. Now, they don't know it's a toe. Mama, did you find some meat? It smells like you're cooking meat up there. Just a little piece of salt pork, honey. It's like bacon. Little piece of salt pork, not enough to eat, just enough to give flavor to the beans. Oh, Mom, that smells good. Later on that evening, when the daddy comes home, empty-handed, by the way, he says the same thing. Honey, did you find some meat? It smells like you're cooking meat in there. Just a little piece of salt pork. Not enough to eat, just enough to give flavor to the beans. That night, that family each had 2 bowls of beans. Those beans tasted so good. Well, time comes to clean up. Now remember, they only had like one room in that cabin. That room wasn't even as big as this classroom. It was, they had pretty small houses back then. Now the mama, to get the daddy and the kids out of the house, she doesn't want them to see the toe and the beans. She sends them out to do errands around outside and in the barn. And while they're outside, she goes over and she takes her slotted spoon, she scoops up that toe, and she rinses it off. I bet I can get another mess of beans out of this toe, she says to herself. I think I'll save it. Now remember, they had a big old what at one end of that house? Just say it if you know it.
What?
Fireplace, a big old fireplace at one end of that house. Well, on that fireplace, there's a mantle, and there's a can. She takes that can down, unscrews the lid, puts the toe in that can, screws the lid back on, and puts it back up on the mantle. Pretty soon, the family's back in, and they're doing their chores inside, and pretty soon, they're all in bed sound asleep. Now, they're sleeping nice and soundly, but about midnight, that mama sits up in bed because she hears this sound. Sounds like this. My toe. Mama. Oh, those kids are up. Mama. It's my favorite part of this story. Mama, those kids are up out of bed. Mama, there's something outside. We can hear, Mama. We can hear. There's something outside. Oh, what is wrong with you? The daddy, he's up out of bed. What is wrong with you? Oh, Daddy, we heard something outside. It's a voice or something. Sounds. What is that outside, Daddy? Oh, there is not. You're just having a bad dream. Now you get back into bed. He gets the kids back into bed, gets them settled down. He gets back into bed, eventually falls asleep. But you know who's still sitting up waiting? Who's waiting? You can just say it if you want. Mama. She's sitting up waiting. Pretty soon she hears it. My toe. My mama, those kids are up again. You got some jumpy ones back there. Those kids are up again.